Hello YouTube. Glasses. Many people wear them in real life. In fact, many people wouldn't even be able to see that much without them. Yet on Tamriel, nobody seems to wear them. Does everyone just have great eyesight? Did the writers just forget to add them? Am I looking into this too much? No, no and no. Because glasses and lenses have lore, and when looking into it, it actually all lines up pretty well. So, strap in for one of my most random videos in a while, and let's talk about glasses on Tamriel after the intro. So, glasses, or spectacles, or however you want to call them. A staple in modern life and even in the past, with the first reading glasses being invented in the 13th century, near the end of the Middle Ages. Now, the funny thing is that glasses very much exist in the lore of the Elder Scrolls universe. First off, Tamriel has pretty extensive lens production industries, as spy glasses, for example, are a staple in militaries and navies around Tamriel. I mean, we even know that the Imperial opera in Cyrodiil has those little binoculars that you can use to see the stage better. And even outside of Tamriel, the art of lens crafting has been adopted, as we know that the Marmer, so the sea elves from the south, actually also use spy glasses. And in addition to that, there are quite a few telescopes, both small portable ones and really big ones, as in the games Tamriel is filled with observatories. We also know, for example, that the Dwemer made lenses, and were quite good at it, as we even see in their Elder Scrolls reading apparatus in the Tower of Mazark in Skyrim, where we read the Elder Scroll. In addition to that, we know that several different types of eyewear very much exist on Tamriel. In Morrowind and Solstheim, for example, you have several armors that have some form of goggles, meant to protect the wearer against the ash storms that Morrowind is infamous for. And these forms of eye protection also often come with glass translucent lenses in front of the eyes. At least something that looks like glass. We also know that specialized zoom glasses exist, as we know that the gem cutters of Tamriel also use specialized glasses to examine gems. And we also know that the Imperial Menonauts, the mythical sort of astronauts from the Riemann Empire days in the First Era, who tried to reach Aetherius while alive, also wore some form of eye protection, probably against the raw magic as they came close to the stars. But their whole story is for another day, as Menonauts are their own can of worms. But what about glasses themselves? So the actual ones that help you with your eyesight. If you have a lens industry, they should be a logical endpoint. Well, we know that they exist on Tamriel, and some people actually wear them. They are talked about a couple of times in the lore, and they are in item descriptions, and in some of the more modern games like the Elder Scrolls Online, we have some people who wear them, who are actually all quite old. And the descriptions that we have of glasses in the lore also all have them being associated with older people, which is quite interesting, as it's not like younger people cannot have eye defects, but more on that later. And this is actually where I think I found a lore reason as to why glasses are so extremely rare on Tamriel, and it will require us to take a small dip into my day job. Because as many of you know, I am a high school science and physics teacher, and it's there where this answer may actually be found. Because, you see, in real life there are basically three types of common eye defects. Nearsighted, aka you can see everything close to you pretty well but the distance is blurry. Farsightedness, where you can see everything far away from you well but not close to you. And something that's often called old-sighted, which is the deterioration of your eyesight with age and has similar effects to farsighted in that it's harder and harder to see something that's very close to you. So, similar to farsighted, but it has different causes. You see, standard near and farsightedness is often caused by the eyeball either being a little bit too long or a little bit too short, which causes the light to not focus properly on your retina, but in front of the retina in case of nearsightedness and behind it with farsightedness. This is a problem because in order to be able to see properly, the light coming from the outside, which is actually what you see, needs to be focused on the retina. That's why we use glasses. They can bend the light a little bit more or unbend it a little bit before it enters your lens, so that it then falls properly on the retina when it exits your lens. Now, the interesting thing is that the old-sightedness that I talked about before is actually caused by something completely different. Instead of your eye suddenly getting some defect, old-sightedness is actually caused by the lens in your eyes becoming less supple over the years, meaning that it's harder and harder for your eyes to make it focus by bending it, as it becomes stiffer and stiffer. Good stuff. I mean, you all asked me to do a science video at some point. Well, here you go, and it serves a purpose, because you see, it reveals a little bit about the case of glasses on Tamriel. So, why don't people wear them? Well, first of all, there's the economics. We know that lenses are absolutely not cheap, and spyglasses and telescopes are very much a luxury item on Tamriel, which only officers of the military and rich people generally have, and like captains of ships. So poor peoples, they may have eye defects, but your average peasant or worker probably can't afford a lens at all, so no glasses, even if they have eye defects. And while near and far-sightedness just straight up shouldn't be a problem for Tamriel's rich people and nobles. You see, Tamriel straight up has flesh sculpting magic, and near and far-sightedness can be easily fixed with magic if you just lengthen or shorten the eyeball a little bit, or even make the cornea a bit flatter or thicker, which is like the glossy little bit on top of your lens. This would be a far better and probably cheaper and also permanent solution to just go to a mage to have your eyes fixed permanently quickly, rather than having to pay for some expensive lenses and glasses, which you would have to replace at some point perhaps, or might lose. This may also explain why old-sightedness, at least to a degree, does seem to be a thing, as it involves just general wear on your lens and making it less supple, which is basically just degrading in quality with age, which may be harder to solve with flesh sculpting for all we know, or may not be possible with flesh sculpting, period. But we don't know the intricacies of flesh sculpting, although it would explain why we have some examples of rich and noble old people wearing reading glasses on Tamriel. Maybe because the lens is just far harder to shape by flesh sculpting, or maybe not even possible with flesh sculpting. I would even go so far as to say that it explains why glasses for other purposes like goggles against ash and specialized zoom glasses for gem cutters do exist, as those are all just tools. Meanwhile, the thing that actual glasses aim to fix, so an eye defect, could be pretty easily permanently solved anyway for those rich enough to afford glasses, because then you can probably afford a mage to do like a one-time operation on you. Which is a pretty nice little conclusion. Oh, and Sheogorath actually once made some glasses made out of amber and gave them to a guy named Uncle Leo. And basically everyone who then tries to wear Uncle Leo's glasses, which is again an artifact by Sheogorath, just goes mad and apparently tries to jump off high buildings. So yeah, don't wear those, but I couldn't find anywhere to fit it into this video, but it was pretty funny. And I now also imagine Sheogorath just dramatically wearing those and just looking over the rim of his glasses while talking to me, so that's a nice headcanon to have. Anyway, that's about all I can say about glasses on Tamriel, one of my most random subjects in a while. I can almost not imagine you not having learned anything about Tamriel in this video, but still, I hope you learned something, and if you did, why not give the video a like or one of those high boost things that YouTube does nowadays. It would really help the channel out. And now, all that remains for me to be done is to vocally thank my top Patreon supporters. Mr. Bernardo Binda, Gabriel Binda, King Chris 20, Volkior Vargonia, RB Dash, Polycom, Baradermas, Lexicon, Sword of Bushido, Rakai, Spaceman, Ranger, and James Lynch. It's thanks to these people and all the others on screen who are my lovely Patreon supporters and YouTube members that this channel stays alive and why I can take off time in my job to even make these Elder Scrolls lore videos. So, huge thanks to them. Links are in the description if you want to join them and see your name on screen right now. With that being said, I will see all of you in the next Elder Scrolls lore video. Bye bye.